Okay. I'll call the Proper meeting to order. First, I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we're on the Mi'kmaq, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Is there any emergency resolutions? Any emergency resolutions? Any emergency resolutions? Seeing none? Approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Bowles, second by Councillor Turner. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Count by nay. Motion carried. Is there any errors, omissions, corrections to the minutes of July 20th, 2026? Any errors, omissions, corrections? Any errors, omissions, corrections? Seeing none, we'll consider those minutes approved. There's no correspondence, so we'll move on to the reports not requiring a motion. And before we get started, Mr. McDowell, you have somebody with us, do you? You want to introduce?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So with us tonight, we have Josie Conrad. Josie's been our engineering summer student this year, studying at St. FX. Plans to go into civil engineering, and we've had her working on a whole bunch of different initiatives this summer, and I'll let her give herself a brief introduction as well. You can use my mic.
My name's Josie Conrad. I would like to be a civil engineering student. I've really enjoyed my position this summer. Thank you.
Nice to have you here tonight. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on. Any Director of Public Works and Development, any questions on that report? Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Regarding the Abercrombie sidewalk, it's nice to see which I believe is the completion of the concrete work. There's a couple of questions. One is, in terms of accessibility, I noticed that a lot of sidewalks have metal plates where people that have accessibility issues enter the sidewalk. Is that going to be applied anywhere on the sidewalk in Abercrombie?
Thanks for the question. Through you, Mr. Chair. No, we didn't include the tactile pedestrian warning strips on these projects because it was a reinstatement. It's something that we did do with the Blue Acres sidewalks. Municipalities often put them in when they're trying to meet certain, like Rick Hansen Foundation standards. It's something that we can add to the Abercrombie sidewalks and to future sidewalks if we so choose, but that's why that was excluded from this.
Okay. In keeping with that question, I guess the crosswalk at the town limit is. I've been trying to get that painted, and we've had a meeting with the superintendent of Public Works, and I've called my representative of Public Works, and I've probably been trying for 2.5, 3 years to have that crosswalk painted. It's still not painted. There's been an increase in traffic on the sidewalk since the sidewalk's been built. There's a lot of children come down from the west side to go to the store in Abercrombie, and they go across where that crosswalk is supposed to be. And I've received a number of emails and complaints from residents that sidewalk, or that crosswalk, excuse me, is not painted. And in fact, when they put the sidewalk in, they took one of the crosswalk signs down. So I'd like to have some kind of resolution on that issue, because it's been a long time since that sidewalk or that crosswalk has been asked for, and we've got no results. Thanks.
Thank you. Again, through you, Mr. Chair. I agree that crosswalk, as well as the crosswalk in Blue Acres, I've had phone calls with Nova Scotia Department of Public Works area manager Keith McDonald as recently as a couple of weeks ago, where I reiterated to him that we need to get these crosswalks painted, and he assured me that yes, they are going to be done, but he could not give me, or would not give me, a time frame on those getting done. So we will keep their feet to the fire and make sure that they're not missed this year.
Okay, Deputy Warden Murray.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a question, but it's not related to the your report. Is that all right to ask a question?
Go ahead.
The Scottsburn and Lions Brooks, both sidewalks, the repairs, when will they be starting?
Thanks for the question. We included significant sidewalk repairs in our budgeting this year. So the intention is to fix those this fall before we get into the winter season. But there are sections of the sidewalk I'm sure that you're aware of and probably alluding to, which are, extended sections that are just completely disturbed, completely non-existent at this point. So
Yeah.
it is in the budget this year to get fully replaced. But the price that we'd gotten last year was too high to do just under regular maintenance work.
Right, I realize. Yeah, just that people are starting to ask when we're gonna have this.
It is bad, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Warden Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You mentioned as soon as Councilor Turner brought that up, I thought, well, I better press my button, so I did, but you did mention the ones on, on the other side of New Glasgow there. It seems to me I don't know whose job it is to make sure this gets done. It's not that huge a task, I don't think, to get this done. By the time we get it done, it'll be winter again. Next thing, they'll be scrubbing them off with the plow again. So I just think we need to put more pressure on somehow. Certainly, I agree with Councilor Turner on the one in his area, but the ones on the East River Road there too. It's not really a crosswalk if you can't see that there's anything there. There's nothing there to tell people that it's a crosswalk. It's just like you want to jaywalk across the street, basically. I'd pity help us or anybody else if anything bad happened there, and I'm certainly not hoping for that to happen. But I think we're in a bad position if it did, where we put the good sidewalks in, and now we don't have a crosswalk. So, just wanted to add to Councilor Turner's point that needs to be more pressure put on somewhere. Thank you.
Councilor Thompson.
Yeah, thank you. I thought the crosswalk issue was like years ago. This issue was brought up with Councillor Turple in his area, looking for a sidewalk, and it was determined that it was a municipal responsibility to paint the lines. That was. Has that changed, or does it?
We always paid a fee to the province.
Did we pay a fee this time, or?
I don't think. I think
They bill you after.
they bill you after the fact,
Okay.
after they
Okay,
maintain them.
that's-
But
Okay,
it always was like there's like an $800 fee for painting.
okay. Just, I wasn't sure if it was our responsibility or theirs, that's all.
Councilor Dorr.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I had the same problem quite a few years ago, twice now, and going across from the crosswalk to the post office. And at the time, it was Dave English was in charge of that, and he wouldn't do it for me. We paid for it through here somehow at that time. Thank you.
Okay. No more questions for the Director of Public Works? We'll move on. Development Officers Report. Seeing none. Emergency Services Report. Fire Inspection Report. The Bylaw Officer Report. The Building Officials Warden Parker. No, we got you.
I think that's the right one. I was just showing the CAO. You can hardly read one of these reports because of the blue and white lines. The white lines are fine, but the blue line, I could hardly make out what it said. I think it was under the danger zone slightly. Yes, here, I got it here now. Monthly case details, it says. Dogs at large and that type of thing. I wonder if we could do something about that report so it's more readable?
Yeah, I can speak a little bit to that. So both the fire inspection and bylaw report for the month, our priority was just to get one in. We do have 2 new staff in both those positions, and so we're sort of working through some of the new staff with that reporting software that you folks are used to seeing. I would say that this report, when it was created, is you can read it no problem. I suspect this is probably related to being run through the copying machine that sort of blurred it. But hopefully next month we'll be back on the old system that you're sort of used to seeing, and it'll be more consistent.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that is the issue Brian just showed us.
Yeah.
Okay? So the building officials report. Oh, sorry. Councillor Bailey.
Thank you. I just want to see on this report, and I do agree that he is new, but there was previous 3 properties that was dealt with that was unsightly and unsafe. The went in for the lawyer to the lawyer for a title search. That's got to be 9 months ago or longer than that. Just wonder what's going on. Like, can somebody please look into as to why these are taking so long? To me, there's no reasonable explanation for it. If the lawyer's too busy, then let's get another one. Thank you.
Evan, can you answer that?
Yeah, the reason they're not reflected in the report is for that fact that they are open. It should be reflected in here. There is that aspect to him being new. I would agree with the length of time in the title searches is quite long. I've reached out to the lawyer multiple times looking for an update on these, and I haven't heard anything back. But I do know he was working through some title searches for tax sale as well. So we are still waiting.
Councillor Bailey?
So, are we going to keep waiting? Like, I mean, it's 3 properties, and we don't know how many other unsightly ones that are sitting down there. This is one of the biggest firms in Halifax, is it not? If they can't do the work for us, why are we bothering with them, or why are we not hiring somebody that will, at least that we, be nice to even have them come to a meeting. I've never seen them, and I imagine I doubt if any other councillors have seen them here, but I don't know. I just can't see how this is acceptable to go on and on and on and on about like this.
So some of the newer dangerous and unsightly we have sent to a different law firm, and we're about 3 months in on title searches. So they're not fast on property stuff.
Yeah, but what's the reason? Like, is there a reason? Are they? I'm sure we pay the price.
It's probably a priority of real estate transactions, right? The sales probably take precedent. Shouldn't, but that's probably what it is, because we have sent a number to a local firm, and we're still like probably pushing 90 days now.
I don't know. I'm guessing we're close to at least 9 months to a year. Anyway,
Okay.
we checked on those.
Maybe Evan, you could check on those properties.
Yeah, I will follow up with the lawyer again, for sure.
Okay. And could you get back to Councillor Bailey? Okay. Councillor Dorr.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was wondering, several months ago, we talked about a property here, we're having trouble with it. Did that get looked after? And with that lady that had trouble with the inspector? Has that been handled?
Did you want, Evan?
Oh, I know which property. Yeah, so we're just finalizing an agreement on that. So hopefully we'll have something new. We've just completed the legal agreement, so it'll go out shortly.
Okay. We'll move on to the building officials report. Next is modernization of ground search and rescue in Nova Scotia. It's information, I guess. Any questions on that? Warden Parker.
I don't have any questions, but I spent a long time reading it. I take it that ground search and rescue is going to become more of an integral part of, our whole protection system here. I think for a long while, they've been treated sort of as the poor cousins, in terms of funding, especially, we give them some funding, I know, every year, but it's pretty small in terms of even what our fire departments get or anybody else. So I was glad to see that there's a move toward making them more an integral part of the system. Is that, I don't remember what the timeline, perhaps through you, Mr. Chair, to Evan, is there a, what happens after this? This is it sort of says is just a general idea, it's not recommendations, it's some general points. Where does it go from here?
So it's very much similar to what they're doing in the fire service. They had a look at the ground search across Canada and across Nova Scotia and determined a lot of inconsistencies in governance and funding models and things like that. And so I do know that there's a timeline attached at the end of this report. I will say they're probably behind on that timeline already. The July of 2026, establishing a GSAR modernization leadership team. I think that was probably their number one priority, and they're not there yet. But I would say that I think this may have some implications depending on sort of how ground search and rescue is viewed, whether it's more of a municipal responsibility. I know they speak a little bit in the report to it being managed at a regional level, sort of like a shared asset. I have reached out, since I've received this report, I have reached out to the province to get some more information on it, and once I have that, I will send it out to council. I wasn't involved in really any of the discussions about ground search as it relates to this at all, so this was sort of new information for me as well, just like it was for you. So I'm still in that sort of fact-finding time right now with this.
Okay, thank you. I would add that I think they proved their worth last year when the little ones were lost. Well, they weren't successful in finding them, probably because they weren't there, but they work together as a team from across the province pretty well, and when there's an emergency happens, they're the ones that are called in for situations. Sometimes it's at both ends of the scale. It's either little ones that are lost or some older folk that have lost their way due to dementia or whatever, and that's who we turn to. The fire department's there to help and everything too, but it's those ground search and rescue people that know what they're doing. So I think we need to appreciate them better, I guess is what I would say. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councillor McKeel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I too am really happy to see that there is, I guess, a path forward to take it out of the report for ground search and rescue. I think it's important that they get not only recognized for their work, but also properly funded. My question is, I noticed in here they kind of talked about the Nova Scotia Guard and a partnership with them. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like the Nova Scotia Guard has totally fallen off the radar. Are you able to give us an update, Evan, I guess, how the Guard is pertaining to emergency operations right now in Nova Scotia?
Sure. So the Guard was originally rolled out to be sort of that on-the-ground asset where they could call on equipment, personnel, resources, all those things. And I think they're in a state at the moment where they have some good volunteers as part of the Guard. You referenced the search for the 2 missing kids earlier, and Nova Scotia Guard was activated for that. They did things like delivering meals and parking vehicles and things like that. And so they definitely have shown their worth in that way. I will say that I think, to your point, it's definitely slowed on the build-out, and I think some of that may be related to, I think, some of the legalities around, in particular, sharing equipment. So if you sign up and say, I have a tractor and I'm willing to go out and clear driveways, the question started to be asked, well, what happens if my tractor breaks while I'm doing that on behalf of the Guard, right? Who pays for the repairs of that equipment? Or if somebody's injured while they're doing it, am I covered through WCB? So I think there's a lot to be worked out. But the people on the ground doing those like wellness checks, parking vehicles, meal deliveries, they've been a big asset for sure. And they've been involved in a lot of different searches around Pictou County. But I would agree with you, I think it's slowed. But I don't think it's a dead topic. I think they're just working through some of those issues of legalities and liability at the moment.
Yeah, I think there's some liabilities I don't think can ever be solved.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be much more of a parking vehicles and delivering food kind of thing.
I agree.
As compared to what the initial intent was for it. But, all right, thank you very much for the update.
Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The ground search and rescue there was such a huge thing last year when the two little ones went missing there in my district in Lansdowne. They come from all over the province, trying to find those two little ones. But I asked the staff sergeant at the time what was anything we could do as a county to help. He was in charge of the search on the second day there. And he said, get more people to join search and rescue. That was need more volunteers, not enough people in the Pictou County one. Like they had to come from all over. I don't know how you do that, but they're trying, no doubt. But it's maybe if you offer them incentives or something like the fire departments, or there's methods to do that. But that was the biggest thing he needed. He didn't need anything else other than more volunteers for ground search and rescue. But I don't know if you heard anything on that, Evan, or not. But
I would agree with you. Recruitment, both in the fire service and ground search, is definitely the challenge. Search and rescue volunteers are offered the same benefits as our fire service currently, so they get a tax credit on both federal and provincial taxes, and they do get free license plate registration as well if they're part of the search and rescue team. The trouble really is getting people involved in their community. It is a big struggle that's plaguing North America, not just Pictou County. Getting more volunteers. I sit on many committees where we discuss different options, and there's a lot of good ideas, but none that would sort of cover everybody fairly so far. So it's not an easy task to recruit new members and have them give up weekends and weekdays and things like that. It's very difficult.
okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. We'll move on. There's no business items that require action. Is there any deferred business? Any motions of reconsideration? Seeing none, I'll adjourn the property service meeting.
Goldilocks. All right, everyone, I will call the Financial Services meeting to order. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Are there any emergency resolutions this evening? Yeah. Yes. If you're adding it to the agenda, it's an emergency resolution.
Okay, so I'd like to submit my first batch of municipal service grants for District 11 here tonight.
Okay. So is there agreement around the table to proceed? Agreed? Agreed? Okay, we will add that in. 9.5. Actually, let's not do that. Let's move it up to 9.1.1. Sorry. It makes more sense there. Okay. Let's move along to approval of the agenda. Oh, so you switched things up tonight. I'm impressed. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have the minutes for July 20th, 2026. Are there any errors, omissions, or corrections to those minutes? Are there any errors, omissions, corrections to those minutes? Seeing none, we'll consider those minutes approved. Next, we have correspondence. We have a thank you from the Celtic Chorus Women's A Cappella Society for the grants that they received. Comments on that? Okay, seeing none, we'll move along to reports not requiring a motion. First, we have communications report for the month of July. Questions or comments on the communications report for the month of July? Okay, move along to recreation report for the month of July. Any questions or comments on the recreation report? Okay, next we'll move along to the warden's report for the month of July. Questions or comments on the warden's report? Okay. Next, we'll move along to tax receivable report. Taxes receivable report. Okay. Next, move along to reports requiring a motion. First, we have accounts payable for July 2026. What is your pleasures, Councillor? Moved by Councillor Wadden, seconded by Councillor Turner. I'll now open the floor up to any questions or comments on accounts payable for the month of July. Any questions, comments on the accounts payable for the month of July? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have the water utility report for the month of July. Can I have a motion, please, councillors? Thank you, Councillor Wadden. Moved by Councillor Wadden. Second by Warden Parker. Sorry, it took a second there. So who said that over there? I'm not used to you being on that side of me. Okay. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have internet accounts payable for the month of July. Can I have a motion, please, councillors? Moved by Deputy Warden Murray. Seconded by Councillor Palmer. Any questions or comments on the internet accounts payable report? All right, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have District 12 municipal service grants. Just 1 second, I'm going to catch up here. We're moving so quickly. Okay, moved by Councillor Dewar, seconded by Councillor Palmer. 1 second here, can we catch up? That's the water. I got her. Okay, we have the Hopewell 4-H Club in the amount of $1,500 for maintenance for Eureka War Memorial and club activities, and First Presbyterian Church in the amount of $750 for maintenance of lawn around the War Memorial, for a total of $2,250. A motion has been made. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have 9.1.1. We have received them earlier today in our packet, or earlier today in an email for District 11. Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Turner. Any questions or comments on those municipal service grants? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. 9.2, River John Legion request for charitable tax donation status. So they have requested, as we know, they're going to be using this for donations, and this is a request. So we have a motion on the floor. Moved by Councillor Bailey. Seconded by Councillor Palmer. Now I'll open the floor up to any comments or questions regarding this. Go ahead, Councillor Boyles.
What are they looking for? They're looking for, like we do with other people, just turn around and let them use our
Tax number.
stuff for tax-free?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, seeing no further comments or, oh, go ahead. Warden Parker?
Lay down the call there. I didn't, maybe it was in there, but I didn't read. There's the same rules as the others, the $100 minimum, isn't it? I just didn't see that, but maybe it was there.
Yeah,
That's a part
that's
of
our
the standard.
standard. Only question I had on it, is it capital? Or just donations for general?
No, I think it's just donations for general.
Okay.
They, I think at one time, probably all legions had a tax number, but due to, and we're going back quite a few years, when the Legion wasn't very active in River John, I think they probably lost it. And now I think they're getting, or there's some out there that's looking to donate, but I don't think you're going to be overflooded with donations. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. All right, seeing no further comments or questions, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Right.
Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. All right, next we are going to have a discussion regarding the branding of the MOPC, an update on that. Guess we have some logos in our package.
Yeah, so the logos that are here this evening, I guess we've gone through a few iterations of different concepts. Some we'll put on the leading edge side, probably a little more artistic type thing. The concept has all been around kind of the thistle, and it's really how the thistle was displayed, I guess, in the other ones. And some of them, we'll just say they were artistic interpretations of the thistle. So the ones that are here tonight are kind of the ones that kind of are clean. They're modern in some ways. One of the things that the firm has kind of said to us, like, one of your keys is that whatever you do should show well in black and white, right? Kind of thing. So these ones are probably do show really well in black and white, as well as color. And there's different color palettes that can be used for them, but so that's kind of where we've kind of gone through different iterations to kind of narrow it down to something like this for kind of presentation.
So what do we need to decide tonight? Which one we like, or is this just for?
Well, really, if you like them,
information?
if you don't like them, we're going back to the drawing board, I guess, for different iterations type thing. Is there things you like in them and things you don't like?
No decisions necessarily have to be made, just some comments.
Ideally, if everybody likes them, then we can start moving forward to kind of the next part, which would be production and kind of finalizing the design and the templates and
just to be
things like
clear,
that.
before I open the floor up, this is all of them. We're not just picking out one or two. This whole branding is just different iterations of the same.
Yeah, so these are just different. There's really two concepts, I guess, here. One, the thistle's contained within the O, and the other one is more the thistle is the O, kind of thing. So there is the two variations that we've kind of looked at. So
Okay, I'll open the floor up. Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for initiating this exercise. There's a couple things I would have liked to see in the artistic renderings as well. We have a palette here in front of us, but I would have liked to see the artistic renderings as well. A couple of things. They've used fonts that are sans serif, which is good in logos. They've incorporated the thistle, and they've basically used the renderings that we used from the thistle that we had in our previous logo. One of the things that has to be considered is when it's used in negative space. So if you're using it on a black background on a website or something like that, how it will look in a negative space as well. This is a positive space, so a negative space has to be considered as well. The other thing I was wondering about in terms of branding, this is simply a logo, but in terms of branding exercises, there's usually other things that are associated with it as well, like taglines. There's no taglines associated with this. So for instance, if you look at some of the other municipalities around, for instance, New Glasgow has Flourish. So that's a tagline that's associated with the branding. This is simply a logo, and I thought when we went to market, we were going to look at a whole branding exercise. So I thought that would be presented to us as well. So those are some of the things that I'd like to be considered. I would have liked to seen the artistic renderings as well, so that we could have a look at it, make a decision around it. I'm sure the administration had quite a lengthy discussion about it and decided not to bring it to council, but I would have liked to seen that. And the second thing was about a tagline and all the other the elements that go with branding. So, but in terms of the logo itself, it uses sans serif fonts. We, you know, they might have used some other fonts in terms of in the artistic renderings as well. When I first brought this forward, I was looking at it through the lens of accessibility, being on the accessibility committee. And the drive for me for asking this to be done was when I went to the Wellness Center and looked at the boards across the way, and I could read Glasgow's logo, and I could read Stellarton's logo, Westville's, etc., but I couldn't read ours. So this is a good rendering in terms of viewing it through an accessibility lens. So I looked at it on a rink board across the way. I would be able to read that, and that's one of the things that I was asking for. So that has been met. So but some of the other things that I thought might have been considered is not here. So I'd like to have another look at the artistic rendering. Have a look at the artistic renderings and move on from there. Thank you.
Okay. Ward Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I didn't look at them with as critical an eye, I don't think, as Councillor Turner. I just looked to see what one I liked, and I liked the one that's closest to the one that we had, which is in the bottom left corner. I'm not a big fan, as much as I know we use MOPC all the time now, I'm not a big fan of changing our logo that much. And the one in the left corner, bottom left corner, I find most similar, different but similar to the one that has been here since 18-something or other. So that's why I would choose that one, but that's just my personal preference. It maybe doesn't meet, you know, the accessibility or whatever lens as much as the others, but I'm not so sure that people from a distance, if they don't know as well, won't even know what the M and the thistle and PC mean, you know, unless you can see what's on the bottom, and that's again in the smaller writing. So again, the only reason I like that one is because it continues the history of this municipality. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, so one of the things, these can be used in different ways. So the one in the bottom left is something that is easy to crest. Probably more so. It's easier to produce, say, for vehicles, things like that. So they can have different uses. So we can interchange as well, right? So depending on really what the best use is and what your space is, right? You adapt it to, like if it's a rink board, you probably go with something that's more square than the cresting one, which would be typically the one in your bottom left. That would be something that's easily embroidered for clothing or whatever, or for vehicles type thing. So
different applications, so different.
Could be different
So some of
applications.
these, it's not like we only have to choose one, we can choose multiple ones, and those can pertain to the different applications that they're being used for.
yeah, like the bottom left one is really a play off of the whole right-hand column.
Right.
Right, so, just in terms of taglines, we did talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, just to add to that, the design company said that the taglines aren't something that they see. It's usually tied to like a strategic vision or a mission statement from the municipality itself that would come out of the strategic planning sessions for municipalities. So that was why they said they wouldn't include it in this, wouldn't have included in this.
Okay. Councillor Thompson.
Thanks. I'm just gonna put my printer's hat on like Councillor Turner there back in the day when I worked at Eastern Sign Print. The ones on the right-hand side will reproduce better than the ones with that constrained thistle inside of an O. That won't reproduce very well. The other ones will. And I like it better than the other one that has sort of looking like an O, because anyway, it's cleaner and it will reproduce better. So that's my 2 cents on the whole thing.
Okay, Councillor Boyles.
Yeah, I'm sort of looking at it the same as the warden. I do like the one on the bottom left. I think that's saying who we are. It's around and, you know, when you go to conventions, you go to something, I don't think, you know, they're gonna see us walking by and turn around and you know, take the time. I don't know, but I think the one on the left is, at the bottom of the left is the one, and if there's any work to be done, I think that'd be the one we should be working around and trying, if there's want to make changes or anything, that would be one that, you know, we should be looking at.
Councillor McDonald.
This thistle, is that, how long has it been in the logo, and what's the reason for the thistle?
Scottish Heritage. Yeah, since the beginning of us. 1880. No.
Officially had crest on it in decades.
Right.
Like the old crest has been around for decades, so whether it dates back to 1879 or not,
Sue Ann, you want to add in?
No,
I
I'm just
don't
going to say,
remember, no.
it's like 148 years now that we've been incorporated, I believe.
Yes, but I'm not sure exactly if we had a thistle on that date or not. I don't know when that branding came in.
I can't seem to find any swag from back then.
Darn, no bags or hats or cups. Okay, so does that give you some direction, those comments? Or do you need more?
Do you want us to send out all of them, or, I don't know.
yeah, like, we can share the other 5. I think there was 5 iterations that were looked at. We can share those. That's.
I'll email them tomorrow.
Yeah.
So is this going to be tabled, I guess, until next next, yeah, okay. You know, I can go ahead, Councillor Wadden.
I was just going to say that the one in the bottom left, yeah, I do like that, like Brian said, for cars and T-shirts and this sort of thing. But I think it's important to have the MOPC out there too, because that's what we're trying to brand as MOPC. So people have to recognize that. So I think that's important to remember too.
Okay. All right, so we'll finish this discussion tonight. We'll wait to receive an email from you with all the iterations, and then we'll revisit this again next financial services meeting in September. Okay? All right, is there any deferred business this evening?
Okay. You skip.
Oh my gosh, sorry, I skipped it. Capital planning. My bad. A little important. I apologize. Get too excited. Can you pass those out?
Yeah, if you want to go that way, I'll go this way.
All right, Brian, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. So based on the survey that was completed and sent back, the only two projects that met the 50% plus one were the Pleasant Valley water system and the Elm School sidewalk were the only two. So everything else that's on here has already been on the plan for a few years. Most of what is here, when we went through the budget process, there's a lot of stuff funded through capital revenue. It still shows on the capital plan. So the vehicle purchases, Holland Lane, Jean Street, street lights, the building renovations, the lights, the telephone system, repairs to the building, security improvements, capital out of revenue. The Blue Acre sidewalk, there's a bit of a holdover there, was capital out of revenue. Manhole adjustments, capital out of revenue. Hopewell sidewalk revitalization, a holdover for this year was capital out of revenue. Sewer system upgrades, town of Pictou was capital out of revenue. E1 pumps is capital out of revenue. The wastewater generator electrical was capital out of revenue. Pumping station repairs of 150 was capital out of revenue. The flow meters, capital out of revenue, as well as the various improvements to the treatment plants. That was all capital out of revenue. I'll skip over a couple of things there. The hillside chlorination was capital out of revenue. The operating Elma chlorination underwater was capital out of revenue, and hydrant repairs was capital out of revenue. So the remaining internet project budget of $11.5 million. The funding from the other levels of government, which equals 80%, and then the long-term borrowing addition of $2.3 million there. The Elma sidewalk, showing that as capital out of revenue. We will find that money within the budget to do that. Actually, the $100,000, I had over budgeted policing by $100,000, or probably by about $120,000. So that's where we'll probably end up. It'll be within that budget, so we don't have to make any adjustments, because we know now, based on the number that we received from the Department of Justice, we were $1 million below where we need it to be, and I had actually increased it by an extra 100,000 because we weren't sure where that was going to be. So we've got the money for that. The Salem wastewater project, which is funded now through the BBCF fund, I think is what the acronym is. So basically, it's a housing fund. The 5.2 million and the various shares from we get 2.3 million from the feds, 1.6 from the province, and the remainder would come from operating reserve. The Hillside lift station repair and upgrades, that was to be funded from gas tax. So that was planned for this year. The McClellan's Brook water project, the completion of that, is 4.2 million this year based on the various cost share models, or the cost sharing agreement that we have with the ICIP program. So 2.6 million of it's federal, 1 million of it's provincial, and then the remainder coming from our operating reserve. The Riverton water extension was planned to start this year, so that's 1.2 million, and that's also funded from gas tax. So this year one total is 24 million, 288,660, broken down by the various components of municipal sources, 3.9 million, provincial 5, a little over 5, feds are 13, and 2.3 million in the debt. Year two, what I'm showing in there is the McClellan's Brook water, which would be the phase that we scaled back. What is shown there for federal, I did apply under the same program Salem has been funded through, which is projects need to be shovel ready, and can basically start once they give you the kind of the green light. So that was applied for in July. They have confirmed receipt of the application, and they did come back and confirm numbers and cost sharing that they would be prepared to give. We don't have an approval or anything on that, but at least the file's been acknowledged and created on their system. So that would be at best probably year two. We could get in something tomorrow. Like the Salem one came out of the blue, and within 3 weeks we had an approval after they asked for updated numbers. We had an approval within 3 weeks, so we could see something move on that as well, type thing. Year three is where I've kind of slotted the Pleasant Valley project, and basically have what I have it shown here right now is potentially using federal gas tax, but we've committed their gas tax to other projects, so we need a couple of years to actually build it up so we have the money to do it, or another infrastructure project program could come along, right? And it could be funded through that type thing. So I just put it in at year three, more so from a funding, and then years 4 and 5 at this point are just the standard vehicle and streetlights.
Okay. I'll open the floor up to any questions on the capital investment plan. Any comments or questions? Go ahead, Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was gonna ask, our CAO, Brian Cullen there, I don't know much about this, but how does this work, the Pleasant Valley Water System 2028, 2029? You apply for federal funding or something?
Yeah, so really it's finding the funding source, right? So at this point, we've committed gas tax to, or what was gas tax to the Riverton project. There's another one that we have in there, the potential on the Hillside Lift Station, so we need to basically have enough of it in the reserve to pay for it. So that's why it's kind of pushed out. And the other thing, the McClellan's Brook project, we may not get funding, so it may have to draw gas tax, right? So, that project was our top priority, so it may exhaust the gas tax, so that's why it's kind of in year 3, it gives us that ability to rebuild the fund, kind of thing. And there could be another, well, there is another infrastructure program that's been announced or negotiating terms between the federal government and the province. So if that comes out, then there's the ability to get 75-cent dollars or 73% dollars on that as well. So,
Okay.
So while it's in year 3, both of these projects, if we get other sources of funding, could be moved up, type thing. But so right now it's just, this is a conservative estimate when I think you can probably afford to do them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
you're welcome. All right, seeing no comments or question, I need a motion on the floor to approve the capital investment plan. Okay, moved by Councillor Palmer, seconded by Deputy Warden Murray. Seeing no further comments or questions, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Okay, any deferred business? Any motions of reconsideration? All right, I'll open the floor up to community announcements. Okay, Councillor Boyles.
Yes, the monthly, right now, is to say in the summer, we have them in June, July, and August, our music jam at the Trenton, or at the Hillside Community Hall. And we will be having our next one this Friday night from 6:30 till 9, with the people playing. We'll admit it free, and there'll be a light lunch, and it's $5 admission. And so just letting everybody know that the 21st of August, which is Friday night, we'll be having our next one.
Okay, thank you. Warden Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think I mentioned this one last meeting, but this Saturday at Weather Holding will be the first edition of the Antique Car Show at the Old Salem Ball Field. It's called Sarah now. So everybody's invited, and hopefully the weather holds. I think they'll have a hard job matching the one at the East Pictou Fair that it was at on last Saturday. I think somebody told me there was 240 or 220, somewhere in that range of antique cars there. Wow. Cars, trucks, everything, but it's an excellent show. So these fellows, it's their first turn, so they won't quite reach that, I don't think, but hopefully the weather holds and they can have a good time and make a little money too. Thank you.
Well, everybody got to start somewhere.
Yep, got to start. Everybody start in grade primary.
Okay, Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Like the warden said, the East Pictorial Fair was this past weekend. We're very fortunate to have very good weather. Like the warden said, the car show, we had 220 plus cars there, and there would have been more, but there was a car show that night over in Truro, so some didn't show up. But all the events were very successful. And I just want to congratulate all the volunteers. If it wasn't for the volunteers, this stuff wouldn't take place. There's a lot of work prior to the event, and then after the event, we still get 2 more days of cleanup after. So it's a long old haul for a few people. And I just wanted to put a shout out to them for all their hard work. So thank you.
That's great. Yep, heard lots of great comments. Councillor McDonald.
Yes, on Saturday, August 22nd, Kensieville Fun Day. It starts off at 10 o'clock with a road race, 6-kilometer road race, and 11 till 2 is a fun day, and a fancy pain, cash barbecue, fish pond, foam machine, bouncy castle, farmer's carry, tug of war, and the all-famous rubber ducky race at 1 p.m. And it's a free event for the whole family, except for the barbecue. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Dewar.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to give a shout out to the people that made the Hopewell Cayley Parade and Cayley such a success. I don't know, maybe there wasn't many of us here or there that day, but a few of you must have said a good word for it, because the weather was good from 11 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock or 6:15 in the evening. They didn't get rained out. There was a great, terrific crowd, nice parade. Everything was just like Thorburn. It was a success. And I don't know, maybe a fellow should be having a dance somewhere. The dances in Thorburn are pretty good too. You get tremendous crowds. But anyway, like I started out by saying, a shout out to the committee for making the Cayley such a success, and a shout out to all the people that always turn out for it. Thank you.
It's great to hear, Councillor Dewar. Councillor Thompson.
There we go. Thanks. This Saturday at the East River Valley Recreation Park in Springville, they're holding a Community Appreciation Day, and they're celebrating 150 years of the Union Lodge number 30 in Springville. It's an event that's been sponsored with some funds through our Community Connectivity Event Fund. There's free hamburgers, hot dogs, cake, ice cream, music. There's a children's playground there, basketball, pickleball courts, and there's washer toss. So it's from 1 to 3 on Saturday.
Okay. Seeing no more councillors, I'll do my plug. This Saturday is the 40th anniversary of the Caribou Fire Department, and they're having a celebration at the fire department from 2 to 6, and it should be a great time. So that's where I'll be. Okay, seeing no more community announcements, I'm going to need a motion to move us in camera. Moved by Councillor Turner, seconded by Warden Parker. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried.